Hello everyone. Welcome to my cross stitch channel. Me and Brew just want to say hi to you. My name is Erica and it is wonderful to meet you all. I hope you all have having a delightful stitchy week, month, year. Welcome back if you are returning, and hi if you're new. This is one of the fastest turnarounds I've had on this channel in a while. But I was actually talking about this channel in one of my classes, so I was inspired to come and show off my work. So this week was a good week. I recently had a birthday. I think I talked about that in my last video, and everything's been going really well. So yeah, I'm happy. Stitching time's great. I'm finally kind of back in a productive mood at school, writing some papers, taking my exams, you know, college stuff. But yeah, we'll see how long Bruce stays. I don't know. He gets antsy when I start filming. I think he just likes when I talk, because I live alone, so I don't like talk out loud to a lot of people very often unless I'm on the phone or in a Zoom call or something. So anytime I'm talking, he gets out and about a little bit more. So let's go ahead and talk about what I worked on the past 2 weeks. So I did not work on all of my projects. I don't have any finishes. If you've watched me for a little while, you know that I will not have any finishes for probably a year or two. We'll have to see how things go, how things progress. But yeah, so let's talk about what I worked on first. So I spent some time working on my Heroes and Heroines, Charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, art by Amy Stewart. Let's see if I can, that is going to be the full picture. One day. I think I put about 400 stitches in on this piece, so not too much, for me at least. But I worked, let me move. I worked on that green lamp a little bit. Up here, all that red and everything is new. Okay, I've got to get him out of my lap. He's digging his claws into me. Bobby, why so mean? Okay. And then I put in all of my threads down there that were hanging. So this will be a clock one day. I think that when I finally get all these threads gone. Goodness gracious. I dropped it. Oh no, it's not even folded at the center anymore. When I finally get all these threads up here stitched in and tucked away, I think I'm gonna go and work on that clock. I think that clock will be easy to put in. I'll probably also work on that blue book because I think it's really pretty. And I personally find that if I go and stitch something pretty that I like, it is easier for me to work on it. So, especially with this piece, because there are, especially in the place that I am working in and what I'm moving towards once I get that clock in. Let me show you. So, I'm sitting in front of a window. Alright, there we are. So that clock is nice, but all of that red tapestry and up there is going to be a bit of a pain because it's just all background. Like, that's so much red. So I think that is definitely going to be something I work on while I'm on a vacation, most likely when my brain is just done. But the moment I get that red done, I can work on a horse, which is exciting. But yeah, I do like how I'm tackling these pieces. If you're new here, the way that I'm stitching my Heaven and Earth designs currently is I am picking a place that I like to work on. Like, I want to get, like, I'll show you in one of the pieces in a second. I pick something that I want to work on, and then I go from the bottom up and just fill in all the colors of that one specific thing. This is super easy on my Amy Stewart's because, as you could tell from that picture, she does a lot of, it's a big picture with a lot of little vignettes. So it's really easy to be like, oh, there's an apple there, I want to stitch that apple. So I go stitch the apple. Or, oh, I'm feeling a little down today, I want to stitch on some yellows. so I'll go stitch on some yellows. My personal favorite colors are blues, greens, and purples, so there's a project that I'm working on right now that has a whole bunch of blues, greens, and purples in this one spot. I went and worked on that. That was fun. Oh goodness, I thought I had a picture for this other, oh I do, it's right here, okay. I don't have a very good picture of it, but it is a picture of it. So yeah, I got about 400 stitches in on this piece. I think I'm at around 15% done with this piece. I'll give you one last view of it because I've just been kind of talking without showing it for a second. I don't think I showed the whole thing. So yeah, it is going to one day be that big, and as you all can see, I got a big old spill on this piece. So I'm going to stitch over it. Some people have said that it has stained their floss. I'm hoping that it doesn't stain mine, because it is old. It happened about 10 months ago now. Wow, I've been working on this piece since January 4th of this year. So yeah, this piece has definitely been my test piece. You know, learning how to cross stitch on a full coverage piece. Heck, when I started this piece, I didn't even always cross my stitches the same way. Like I'm looking at some of these stitches, and some of them go this way, some of them go this way at the end. I now have one way that I always stitch. Don't know if it's technically the right way, but I haven't lost any stitches, none of them have come out or anything, so it's fine to me. I am definitely not a traditional stitcher. I rarely actually do what is called for with stitching, mainly just because I don't care what my backs look like. That might sound like silly and strange and bleh, but I am not exactly a process stitcher. I think that's obvious with all the hates that I do. No. Like, I'm not a finished stitcher. Like, I don't really want a whole bunch of finished objects. Like, that's why I don't stitch a whole bunch of really small things, is I don't like a lot of things on my walls. I like a lot of, like, so like having a few big projects I think would be really beautiful. So yeah, I don't really care how my backs look. I think my projects look good, I think, especially on camera. They look delightful. So I'm just really happy with my progress. I really enjoy, I wouldn't say I really am enjoying this piece right now, just because the colors are darker. At least where I am right now and everything that I'm working on, it seems like it's a lot more of the primary colors rather than the brights of this other piece that I'm working on that I just absolutely adore, and it's just stolen my attention so completely the past few months. But, you know, I'm stitching, that's what matters. They'll all get done eventually, maybe. So my next piece that I worked on was actually the second part of my birthday start that I was doing this year. Since I was turning 20 in 2020, I decided 2 20s, 2 new starts. So I started another Haid. So it's the Elementals, artwork by Josephine Wall, and charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I did not take a very good picture of this, so this is just the website, but I will show you. Oh, it's so hard to see. I'm trying to get it without all the glare. Not the best, perhaps. I will remember to screenshot this and actually take a picture of it and crop it and everything so that you all can see better next time. I'm very excited about this piece. It has got quite a few very beautiful colors, but also very different colors, which is exciting. I really like working on projects that have a lot of different colors. I think you can tell that by my love of Amy Stewart's and this design, Josephine Wall, and Celeste also, which I'm also working on. Didn't work on it this past 2 weeks, but I do really love that project. And I love the color specifically. Why are you doing this, Bru? Why do you keep digging your claws into my legs, huh? Huh? Okay. Be good. So I got to start on that. I got about 1,500 stitches in. Currently it's mostly just a lot of darks, but there is a little bit I don't even know if you could tell. There's some browns and things going on in there. But yeah, this is a fun piece. I do enjoy working on it. It is on 28 count, so my other pieces are on 25 count. This is on 28 count, which is fine. It just means that I do have to always use a 28 count needle. Sometimes I use a 26, just because I like the 26 count needles are just a little bit longer, I find. And I like the length. I think I've gotten used to the length a little bit more, so when I do work with a 28 count needle, it's just a little shorter than I'm used to, so I have to, you know, rotate the wrist a little bit more, which is fine. But I just have to get used to it. Brew is being very needy right now, which is funny because he never is. Like when I'm stitching, he's in his cat tower. He doesn't want to be anywhere near me. But when I'm taping a video or in class, he wants to be right here. So then we get to the piece that I've been kind of talking about this whole time. Brew, it's not for you. Which is my favorite piece that I'm working on, which I think I've said like 15 times. It is Once Upon a Fairy Tale, artwork by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Signs. Here is a picture of it, what it will look like finished at least. So with this piece, I have got this bottom vignette completely done. I've got half of this horse one done. I've got all the stitching along the bottom, so I have the bottom border done as well as this top length border completely done. And I've done that just pretty much so that I can move around, which means that there's half of this piece that I can just go to whenever. Well, actually, it's now about 3/4 from where I've stitched and how I've stitched, that I can just get to at any point. If I want to decide that I want to stitch, like there was a point this week where I was like, I just really want to stitch some yellow. So I just went to the yellow part and just started stitching, and it's made it so, like I was kind of getting a little burnt out on this piece because I think I was just trying to keep working on the same thing that I was working on, which was like a lot of browns, a lot of kind of musty colors that I just generally don't like as a person. Brown is not my favorite color at all. If it was up to me, the room that I'm in would not be brown, but it is a taupe, and there's nothing really that I can do about it currently. So live and let live, I guess. But I think I'm definitely have to back up to show you this whole piece because it is fully, it's fully stitched all the way across. I don't know if you can see any of it, but I hope you can. So not, that'll be awkward, but I think you can. So I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer and show you what I worked on these 2 weeks specifically. And then show off what I already have done because why not? It's cute, looks good. So this is my top right corner. It looks, I think it looks left on your screen, but it's right in real life. And then the thing that I worked on this week that kind of shows off how I'm stitching right now, I got that peacock in. He was really fun to stitch. I really enjoyed stitching him. I love those colors, and it was a pretty quick stitch. I think there's about, I think that's about 1,500 stitches. I think he's a little washed out on the camera. I think he looks a little darker than he is in real life, but he is a very, very bright, vibrant blue and green in real life, and it looks very, very good. And then I went down, or maybe I did the peacock and then the gargoyles, but I cannot remember if I already had the gargoyles done. I don't think I did, but if I did, pardon, I'm showing them off again. Okay, so, and then I have the boat scene completely done. It is definitely one of my favorite vignettes, which is why I did it first. So then I have the book and the 2 gargoyles also completely done. And now I have come over here, and like I said, I was feeling kind of down a little bit this week, so I went and worked on the yellow some. That's about, I would say about 2,000 stitches probably that I've put into this little area down here. No less than that, probably about 1,500, I think, that I put into this little area right here. Let me fold it in half. It's going right back on the Q-snap after this video, but I do want to show off what I've stitched a little bit better. So let's see. Ugh, it's so big I can't see over it. Okay, so this is all gold for the little dragon's hoard. I'll show you a bit closer what I'm working on currently, and what I hope to kind of get done. So what I really want to do, I have done this corner over here, and then I've come over here and worked a little on this, because I want to work and do all of this gold. That is my current goal. If it gets done, who knows? It depends on, because that's going to be, you know, a month's worth of stitching at least. So we just kind of have to see how long that takes, because what I really want to do is I want to work up. I want to work, so kind of what I want to do is I want to work all of this golden, which of course, huge, very lofty goal, right? Incredibly lofty goal, but I'm working on what, 5 heids and that's it. Obviously I like lofty goals. So I'm gonna get in all of this gold stitching here, hopefully. Don't know if I'm gonna do the dragon or if I'm gonna keep that for later. There's another dragon in this piece, but I really like this green dragon. I think I might want to get him in. And then I want to work up this waterfall, because, so this is just a me thing. I don't know that I love one very specific section of this piece. I love this piece. Oh my goodness, it is the best piece. The artwork, it speaks so much to me as a person, who I am. I mean, heck, I'm wearing a Critical Role t-shirt. I'm a Dungeons & Dragons nerd. I've been reading fantasy my entire life. I love fantasy. But I do not like the look of digital art a lot. I know that this is digital art, but it looks very realistic. And the only part about this pattern that looks a little digital, like kind of, like I don't really like Randall Spangler patterns. I know a lot of people do, and when they stitch them, they look wonderful, but I would never want them in my home necessarily. I don't like how they really look, personally. And there's one part of this piece that I think looks so digital that I'm kind of worried about it. I don't think anyone would ever notice, but it is this one little section where there is a man standing in front of these 2 books, and on, like, when I look at it, it just draws my eye because it looks so different than everything else. And that is totally a personal preference. I'm sure that when I stitch it, it's gonna look fine. You know, originally I was worried about how the houses were gonna look down in that bottom corner with the boat, which is why I did it first, because I wanted to make sure it looked good right away before I really got started on anything else. I wanted to make sure that that part that I was worried about looked good. And there wasn't really a way for me to start a quarter up the piece in the side, you know, so I just couldn't really start there and get everything right. So, but yes, I am excited to keep working on that, and I think that's where I'm gonna go. There is a chance that I go back over to the very left bottom side and I just work up and get that little bit in and then go back down to doing gold. It just depends on what I want to do. But yeah, I adore this piece. I think I'm already thinking, like, in my head, like, ooh, what am I gonna do once this piece is done? I'm only 20% of the way through. I have so much more work to do. I started this in April. So I think last week was this piece's 6-month anniversary. So, you know, 50% in 6 months is wonderful, amazing, great. I have been debating with myself on if I'm going to do a stitching shelf. I mean, I feel like at this point I'm doing 2 Amy Stewarts. Why not just do the other bookshelves? The only one that I wouldn't want to do is museum bookshelf. I just don't like how that one looks. Again, personal preference. I've seen it being stitched. I think Kim Hollenbeck, I don't know if that's her YouTube name, but I know that's what she uses on, like, the Facebook groups and everything, and I see her more often on there. But she's doing the museum shelf, and it's gorgeous. I love, love, love how it looks. I just don't know that I would want it in my home because there are quite a few sections that I just don't like. I think it's just a lot of background with not a lot of stuff packed in. And like how I describe stitching, I like stitching a lot of little vignettes, which is why I really like the Josephine wall pattern. It's like I can focus in on one flower and then get that one flower in and then stitch around it and be like, oh my god, there's the flower. Which I really enjoy, which was something I wasn't getting when I was doing page by page. I wasn't getting, you know, the little details. I wasn't really enjoying all the little things in the piece. And I'm really enjoying that right now. I'm really enjoying being like, oh, this is the peacock. I can see it being formed, you know, because if I was just doing page by page, box by box, oh, this is just a lot of blue. Oh my god, this is so much confetti. You know, that would be all I would see, and then I'd pull it back and be like, oh, there's a peacock. That was painful to stitch. But, you know, that peacock took me a day and a half of stitching. One of those was the day that I worked and I was working in my car. So, I think I enjoy this way a lot. I do not think it is for everyone. I think there's a lot of people who would be like, who would get frustrated or get burnt out on working on certain things. But yeah, I think cross-stitching is, you do it however you want to do it. I think that is the best way to do it. I think I see so often people always asking for tips and tricks, and then I look in the comments and everybody has responded differently. I think that's the beauty of cross-stitch, is there's no wrong way to really do it. As long as you're doing the basics of your X's go the same way, everything touches, you know how to stitch on linen versus Aida. I mean, you know the basics. There's no way to really go wrong. And I love that. This craft is so incredibly simple and yet so incredibly complex. And there's so much you can do with a bit of needle, some floss, and quite a bit of fabric in my case. But yeah, I'm gonna get off here, do a little revision for an exam that I have coming up, and cross stitch some more and make dinner. So have a great stitchy week. I know that I'm currently having one and I cannot wait to catch you on the next one. Hopefully in around 2 weeks probably. I think 2 weeks is a good amount of time to have some solid progress. And, you know, if I do tunnel on one project, I don't stay focused for so very long that it's like, okay, well, I have this one project to show you, bye. And then I do like a 4-minute video, which I think I've done like an 11-minute video before, so I can talk, but I'm gonna get off here. I've said that 4 times. But I hope everyone has a great stitchy week, a great stitchy month, and a great stitchy year. Bye!